have Colby in line or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, but is that even an option on the table? Like, I don't even fucking know.
I mean, in the weigh-in show today, they had a prompt that was like, Masvidal, the winner of Masvidal versus Burns fights for a title. I would say yes to that, but don't think they're jumping Colby. Like, I think the answer can be yes, and Colby still gets the title shot.
What do you mean? Like, if Colby gets the next title shot, then they're not getting the next title shot.
Well, they would still fight for the title. They just wouldn't get the next.
Oh yeah, so I mean, I guess, but that's like
I mean, I can totally see a scenario where
that's
Burns.
true, but like, of course, they can always say that, but that logic is never any trade off ever. But
No, but I
like, the
mean,
point
like, I
is,
think that they don't even need to take another fight. They just still won't um, like leapfrog Colby in line.
I get what you're saying, but still, like, it still costs waiting a bit longer.
They'd be put in
It,
the Sean O'Malley spot, basically.
which is kind of a shitty spot. I mean, he hasn't fought for like over a year, and
Yeah,
then
it is
like
a
all of
shitty
a sudden
spot.
it's like, oh, does he even deserve a title shot now? There's so many other people.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, the thing is, Colby's once Colby's champion, he's just gonna like be
Dude, this
super
but that's the
inactive.
problem with this division. It literally just rewards people for sitting out and being inactive. If
I
that's what
know
we're getting, look at the people that are the most active. Who's the most active? Like Bilal
Gilbert
Muhammad,
Burns, Bilal Muhammad, and Gilbert
Gilbert
Burns,
Burns,
and Kamaru Usman.
and
Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, I guess it.
Usman was like the one thing saving the division because
Yeah, that's
Usman
true.
champion was like we'd at least get frequent title defenses.
I mean, we can't count Leon Edwards out completely because he
You
has been like
can.
pretty active for a champion so far.
I just the risk of Colby becoming champion is so high to me. Like fuck, man, it's
Dude,
seems to change
it
the
is
game to
bad.
shit.
Okay, so let's
Anyway, yeah,
actually just start the
just save
segment
this
then.
for the actual video. Are we recording right now?
Oh yeah, I recorded. I can cut it out, but let's just keep it in.
Oh yeah, no, let's keep going. Okay,
Let's
whatever.
just
I
do
didn't
some.
realize we were recording.
Okay, so let's start the actual segment. The prompt will be: Can either guy do enough to, let's not just say like earn a title shot, but jump Colby in line? Okay, ready,
Okay.
set, go. 8 minutes.
All right. First question. Forget about who gets the next title shot. Can Masvidal or Burns do anything, like literally anything under the universe conceivable, to change Dana's mind
Man,
about the next title shot at welterweight?
it just defies, unless you have another like spectacular and stunning performance. Like there's two ways you can really win in this sport, right? Like a quick knockout, or you'd like dominate someone. And like maybe if it's a back and forth fight, it'd be like really well talked about because it's an exciting fight to watch. But that doesn't necessarily mean that someone had like an amazing performance, right? It just means like it's back and forth and you slightly edge the person out. I
Right.
think like one of the more talked about fights and performances was like Shavkat versus Jeff Neal. That was an entertaining fight, a step up in competition for Shavkat, and he lived up to expectations in terms of the amount of skills he was able to show and demonstrate in that fight. So he got the best of both worlds, right? The fight itself was talked about, and his performance and thus his stock rose. But
Sure.
that's different because he was like a rising prospect. Masvidal's kind of a hard battle tested contender.
Hmm.
So we're not gonna he doesn't really have that aspect of like, oh, we found out more about him. We already know everything we're gonna know about Masvidal. It's just like Leon Edwards wants it, he wants it, the fans want it. Obviously UFC knows something we don't know and they're not telling us.
I mean, I think the fans are a little bit more mixed just because Colby has. I don't know. Colby is a very vocal fan base, dude. Go on YouTube. Colby fans ravage the comment sections, man. They're like all over the
Dude,
Masvidal
what's
interview.
funny
All
is all of the MMA media always says, "Oh, Colby has so many fans," and yet like I've never heard anyone be a fan of him. But like that's MMA media.
Yeah.
But
But
still,
like the comments, I feel like Trumpers fucking love Colby, man. They fucking like those guys
dude,
will go to
Masvidal
bat for
literally
this
went to a
man.
Trump rally. Is he just
I
like
know, but dude,
starting at a
Colby's
negative position because he's Cuban? Is that it? Just
I don't know. I
automatically
mean,
dislike.
Colby wins the spot, and then I guess Masvidal and Colby are rivals.
Masvidal
It is
lost the
weird.
spawn point battle there.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
it's so I don't know. I don't know how popular Colby really is. Based on like pay-per-view by projections, he isn't. Based on social media followers, he isn't. I do think his fan base though is very very loyal and vocal, which is really helpful. You know,
I mean,
even if you
yeah,
have a
that's
small fan
fine.
base, they're like,
But is that really the reason that they're sticking with it so hard, especially when
no,
they literally like have a pretty high fight that they could bill as a contender fight? The
I
UFC loves doing that, right? They
just
love
don't
slapping,
know.
"Oh, this is a title eliminator fight" on fights
They
that aren't
love it,
even
even though it's
close.
not true. They'll just like even the chance of it being a title eliminator is enough to sell fights. But in this case, it's like, and that's how everyone's selling it. They're literally selling it as like, oh, well, what are you gonna do to change Dana's mind and get the next title shot? And my response to that is, hold up, is that even possible? Like, is that even possible?
Yeah, I
Could
literally
anything
don't think
happen?
it's possible. I
Because like
don't.
when Dana digs in like this, I feel like it's like an ego thing at this point. Like he won't even want to say, "Never mind, I
Right,
changed my
and
mind."
like
He's
I don't
dug
know,
in
Dana
so
White's
hard.
not like the end all be all in terms of UFC matchmaking, but it sounds like
He
he
has
wouldn't
power.
be this adamant unless he had like the backing of the UFC, like total matchmaking staff behind him and they were confident in that decision. He always says he doesn't make fights the night of. He made the fight the night
Always.
of. Like
I
why?
don't
It's
get
such
it.
a
I don't get it.
mind-boggling
Something had to have.
exception
What do you think? Do you agree with that theory that like they made Colby made a deal with the UFC
to
about how
not
like
sue
he won't
Masvidal.
go after Impossible?
I
Yeah.
honestly kind of believe it. It's the most believable thing. Because
It
think
is.
about it,
It's
man.
supposed to, I don't know what
In
else
the
it could
next
be.
pay per
I actually
view,
don't know.
Colby's like, okay, I'll be the backup fighter. You guys are doing a pay per view 3 weeks from now. You want Masvidal on it. It's in Miami against another Floridian guy. Masvidal can't fight if I'm like suing him. I'll drop the lawsuit. You'll get your Masvidal pay per view in Miami. Give me the next title shot, and I'll go in as backup.
Is it true that Masvidal can't fight if he's getting sued?
I believe so. I mean, I guess how
I
would it
don't know
look
that.
if the UFC's doing business with someone who's going through a lawsuit about?
I don't think they care.
I guess they like do business with jail, but I guess they don't really care about how they look.
Yeah, I just don't get it,
Anyway,
man.
dude,
I mean,
this conversation is so hypothetical. Tell me, like, title implications aside, tell
yeah.
me the way Masvidal would win this. Like, is it possible for Masvidal to even win, let alone get a title shot off of it?
Well, it's definitely hard. I mean, one thing going for Masvidal is that if he wins, people didn't think he would win. And so
Right.
that's going to generate some discussion. It's going to generate some talk of the fight. It's going to
And I
make
think
it
that's true in like any type of way that he wins, even like a decision, even a slow, boring decision. It's like, oh, he still beat Gilbert Burns. He like 29-28 at Gilbert Burns. That's pretty impressive for a
sure.
37-year-old at welterweight. But how does he actually win? Like we have a minute 45 left. Let's actually just like spend it
Okay,
talking
fine,
about this
fine.
fight.
So you're telling me even if he Ben Askren's him. Anyway, whatever.
I just
Um,
don't think he's gonna get it any way he wins. So he should just be trying to focus on winning, like any way
it's fair enough.
possible.
Fair enough. I don't think I'm definitely giving him a pretty good chance, honestly, just because Gilbert's takedowns are not his strong suit,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Masvidal's takedown defense is pretty good. He's gone through several training camps of takedown defense, and
Okay.
so I think his takedown defense can definitely stand up to Gilbert Burns. And in the striking, Masvidal's still a beast.
Yeah, he is pretty good, man. He can throw too, like cracked Colby's chin there.
He
Um,
did. He did.
I know
And
Matt
he just
like Gilbert
he
Burns
just
throws bombs, but when people are talking about striking power, Dude,
Yeah.
he only
Gilbert gets
throws looping shots. He only
Gilbert
throws.
gets hit so much. I just don't understand like how and Masvidal is weirdly accurate even when he's like fatigued and he's winging shots a bit. He'll still hit the mark like he did against Colby.
Man, if
That's why I
Masvidal wins
mean
round one, the the chances
three
of
on fight too. 3 on fight.
I know, yeah, that's the other thing. Like if he just wins round one, like I think people were
Yeah.
talking about Gilbert. They were talking about like Gilbert Burns or a 3 round fight is two less chances that the rounds start standing. It's two less chances for Masvidal to get a knockout. But I'm like, I can really see Masvidal like taking it the distance and winning 2 rounds on the scorecards.
I could definitely see 2 rounds, man. Like
Yeah.
I don't think
Oh,
Gilbert's
there's
takedowns
the eight
are
minutes.
good enough.
All right, closing
You
thoughts.
got cut off of it. You know what? Fuck it. I don't know what the odds in this fight, but I'm actually gonna predict. This is a bit of a hope prediction, but I think Masvidal by decision.
Masvidal's like plus three, like plus 350 or something.
Wow. All right, I'm probably wrong.
uh,
I don't know. Wow, but that's a really heavy favorite for Gilbert. I'm so surprised. But what do you think?
the problem was, man, and I know that 8 minutes is up, but the problem is, remember his fight against Covington, where he just like
Yeah,
willingly backed himself up against the cage.
it was a 5 round fight, high pressure, and he was afraid of the takedown.
Yeah,
That's what all those ATT guys do. Whenever they're afraid of the takedown, especially Masvidal, all he does is like back to the cage because they only know how to get up with the cage.
dude. Honestly, though,
All those guys do.
betting this fight to go the distance, it's probably like plus money for it to go the distance. And I think that if Gilbert wins, it's definitely going the distance. I don't think his striking is good enough to knock him out. I don't think his
Yeah.
grappling is good enough to submit him or like as you said, take him down. And I Masvidal could knock out Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns has been finished before by guys, but if Burns gets dropped and goes to his back, do you really see Masvidal like hunting a finish in that scenario?
No,
Yeah,
he's
like
not gonna go into Gilbert's guard.
right. All right. Well,
Whatever. We're way. All
yeah,
right, fair enough. Leave it
we're
at
way
that.
over time, but that is gonna be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it.